All right, something a little bit different today. I had someone comment just a few days ago on one of my videos. I think it was the one I did about a year ago about the Medicare Advantage plans terminating. And this person's comment was that none of the top tier hospitals accept Medicare Advantage plans. And so I replied back that that was incorrect, that that was false, that the vast majority, if not all of them, accept some Medicare Advantage plans, at least out of network. And ironically, some even have their own Medicare Advantage plans. And that person has since removed his comment, so I can't show it to you. But I want to bring this up because there is so much misinformation about Medicare, Medicare Advantage, what hospitals accept them and don't. Is it true that a lot of hospitals are terminating contracts with Medicare Advantage companies? Yes, it is. But even when they terminate those contracts as being non-contracted, out of network, what's called par or participating, they still typically will accept the Medicare Advantage plan. It is very rare that they won't accept it at all as out of network. So what I thought I would do, just for some fun, is to go on and check out all the top tier hospitals in the country and see what they say about accepting Medicare Advantage. So to do this, the first thing I did was I jumped onto good old ChatGPT, which I do find quite helpful. It's not 100% correct, despite what some people might think or believe. And as you can see, I asked it the question, what are the top 10 hospitals in the U.S.? And it responded, here's a clear, up-to-date overview of the top hospitals in the United States based on latest reputable rankings. And here we have it. And they bring this one up, I guess, from the Newsweek one, which I will get. And they list the Mayo Clinic, Cleveland Clinic, Johns Hopkins, Mass General, Ronald Reagan UCLA Medical Center, Stanford Health, Mount Sinai Hospital in New York, Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston, Northwestern Memorial, and UCSF. And then it went on to list additional top hospitals from the money ranking, and you can see some of the same ones that are in there and some different ones. And then it brings up the U.S. News and World Report, which is probably the most popular source for the top hospitals in the country. And again, Cleveland Clinic, Cedars-Sinai, UCSF, and so on. And it gave me then a final takeaway of the top 10. And then we have, again, Mayo Clinic, Cleveland Clinic, Mass General, Johns Hopkins, Cedars-Sinai, New York Langone, UCSF, Duke University, Ronald Reagan UCLA Medical Center, and Stanford Health. And so we jump over to the U.S. News and World Report, America's Best Hospital, and their honor roll. I do not need to create an account. Thank you very much. It gives a whole list of the honor roll on there. And so that's where they were getting that information from. Newsweek, World's Best Hospitals. They have their ranking on here. And here we have Mayo Clinic, Cleveland Clinic, Johns Hopkins, Mass General, Ronald Reagan. So you pretty much see from all these sources that rank the hospitals, the top 10 are pretty much almost always the same. Maybe somebody's 11 on one and they're 10 on another, and so forth. But they're pretty close to the same. And then even Money Magazine, there's it. Cedars-Sinai, Mass General, University of Kansas, New York, Riverside, a little bit different of a list on there. So what I did is compiled the list that you see here of the hospitals and put them more or less in order. And I added a couple, UVA Health, which is where I am in Charlottesville, and MD Anderson, which is very well known for cancer treatment. And obviously a lot of people on Medicare, unfortunately, come down with cancer. So you may want to know the answer. And so what I did is, okay, how many of these accept Medicare Advantage? How many don't accept any Medicare Advantage? And how many actually have their own Medicare or co-branded plan? And as you see, every single one of these hospital groups, top tier hospitals, accept Medicare Advantage. Mayo Clinic is the only one that states contracted only, meaning they won't accept your Medicare Advantage plan if they're out of network. Not one of them doesn't accept some. And then some even have their own, which we will get to. So Humana and Cleveland Clinic have a co-branded plan. Massachusetts General, Johns Hopkins have their own. Funny, Cedars-Sinai has a partner with eHealth. That's ridiculous. I might talk about that. And then Ronald Reagan UCLA has their own Medicare Advantage plan. So in case you don't believe me, here we go. So this is the Mayo Clinic, Rochester, and it's listing out on this PDF document that they have, okay, all of the plans that are available. And you can scroll down this list and you can see these. Some of these are Medicare Advantage, like here's Humana Medicare Advantage Select plans. If I do a search for Advantage, okay, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Humana again, Medica, whoever they are, TLC Advantage, that may not be a Medicare Advantage, UCare Medicare Advantage. So they accept some Medicare Advantage plans. Let's go to the Cleveland Clinic. Now we have the Cleveland Clinic. Look at all these Medicare Advantage plans that they accept. Aetna, Anthem, AARP, Cigna, Devoted, Humana, Molina, United Healthcare, big one, and Zing. So they accept certainly all the major ones predominantly on there. And that's the Cleveland Clinic, Specialty Hospital, okay? Top tier, as some would say. Mass General, Brigham. So these are the insurance plans that they accept. And again, if I just do a search for Advantage, and then what comes up? Aetna comes up. Blue Cross Blue Shield has some Medicare Advantage plans. Fallon Health, not even familiar with them. Humana, Medicare Advantage PPO only. Okay, so that's important. So if you had a Medicare Advantage HMO with Humana, it may not work. Okay. Who else we got? Tufts Health Plan, Medicare Advantage PPO. United, I presume that means United Healthcare. Okay. I don't know who else it would be, but they accept that. And WellSense, whoever they are. Now, here's the funny thing about Mass General. Okay, look at this. Mass General Brigham Health Plan. Get started with Medicare. Lo and behold, they have their very own Medicare Advantage plan that you can get from Mass General. How about that? These are all the different Medicare Advantage plans that they offer to people. Let's keep going. All right. Who do we have now? Johns Hopkins. So let's scroll down. We'll get to Medicare coverage and we will see insurance plans that we accept. They go through the list. Aetna, First Health, Humana, Johns Hopkins plans, of course. Medicare coverage. Here's the important part. Please be advised that Johns Hopkins Medicine hospitals and most Johns Hopkins University physicians participate with Medicare, but we are not contracted with most Medicare Advantage plans, okay? That is true. That doesn't mean they don't accept them. If your Johns Hopkins Medicine hospital doesn't participate with Medicare Advantage, you can use out-of-network benefits if your plan has them. So if you're on a PPO that allows you to go out-of-network, you could do it. And if you're on a really good PPO that is open network or passive network, means you pay the same price in or out-of-network, you could pay the same price at Johns Hopkins out-of-network as you could your local hospital that is in the network. And guess what? Johns Hopkins also has their very own Medicare Advantage plan. Who do we have here? We have Cedars-Sinai. Okay, Cedars-Sinai has served the needs of Medicare beneficiaries since the program began in 1965. And then they go through the main parts of what is covered. Part A, Part C, Part D, and Part D. And it says, please note, not all physicians participate in Medicare Advantage. After you've narrowed down your coverage, choice, physician availability, it is important to you. Please call the health plan to confirm. They have it on here. So, okay, here we go. So Medicare Part C. These are the plans, also known as Medicare Advantage plans, and what it does. And so Cedars-Sinai will participate in the following Medicare Advantage plans in 2025. Alignment Health, Anthem Blue Cross of California. Look at all those plans. Mostly HMOs, maybe all that they have. Blue Shield of California, United Healthcare, and SCAN. Okay, most of those are HMOs. So there is a PPO in here with United Healthcare. But the bottom line is they accept Medicare Advantage. Let's keep going. Now, this one's really hard to see. NYU Langone Health. Not sure how to say that. If you know, send me the pronunciation on here. So this is a PDF document. So this is a little bit hard, but if we do Advantage on here, we will see that whoever HIP is, they accept that Medicare Advantage plan. It does say in some of these things, NY hospitals are out of network with Emblem Health and other places, things like that. We got Fidelis Medicare Advantage. We got Village Care Medicare Advantage. I haven't heard of most of these. VNS Choice Medicare Advantage. Empire Medicare Advantage are out of network. Doesn't mean you can't use them. GHI Emblem Health and so forth. Let's see. Let's look up, see if they say anything about Humana. They accept Humana PPO and their Medicare. What about United? They accept HMO, POS, that's point of service, PPO, indemnity plans. Says that some of the practices are non-par, means they are not participating. Doesn't mean they won't accept it. Just means they're not participating. They're not networked. They are not contracted with them. What about Aetna? Aetna HMO, they accept. Hospitals are out of network with Aetna NAP Pen, whatever that is, Aetna Premier Care Network, and so forth. So they're out of network, doesn't mean they don't accept them. All right, let's keep going quickly through this. UCSF, University of California, San Francisco, take a look at all of these, okay? All of these plans they accept. Some of them they accept in network. So if you look at Aetna, in network, apparently with commercial, out of network because it says non-contracted, but they accept them. UCSF Health has contracts with many health insurance companies ranging from preferred provider organizations to HMOs. And this is the following list as well as Medicare Advantage and Medi-Cal programs that are accepted here. If you have one of the plans listed below, you and your referring physician must follow the authorization procedure required by the plan. And so here, let's look at the big ones. Aetna, accepted. Anthem, accepted. Some of the Blue Crosses, accepted. Cigna, accepted. How about, we've got Humana. They're big. Humana Medicare Advantage, they are not contracted. Doesn't mean they don't accept them. The HMO would not work unless you had special circumstances and you jump through some hoops to do that. Kaiser Permanente, that's kind of funny. They accept Kaiser Permanente that has their own hospitals. That's interesting. Who else? Let's see. Where is United Healthcare? Of course, they have their own, which we're going to get to. United Healthcare. They accept PPOs and some HMOs. Medicare Advantage looks like they are actually in network with all those. And that is UCSF. All right, let's go on to Duke Health in North Carolina. Look at their Medicare Advantage plans. Aetna, Alignment, Blue Care, Cigna, Humana is on there, Liberty, Troy, have never heard of them, and United Healthcare on there. It does give you a disclaimer. Duke Health does not participate for mental health, or home infusion services. This may increase your out-of-pocket cost with with Duke and United Healthcare. UCLA Health. Here are their Medicare Advantage plans. These, which I'm going to show you here in a second, the first two are their own Medicare Advantage plans. So HMOs, they take United Healthcare, they take PPOs from Anthem and United Healthcare. And effective January 1st, the following plans, they don't accept a whole host that are on there. So they accept some. These guys are probably the most limited when it comes to Medicare Advantage. So if you go there, want to go there, think you're going to need to go there, you better be really careful which Medicare Advantage plan you pick. And here we go. They have their own UCLA Health Medicare Advantage plan that you can enroll in. All right. Coming to the end, Stanford Health. What do they accept? Medicare is federal health insurance program for people 65 and over. And they talk about getting your health through traditional Medicare or Medicare Advantage companies like AARP, United Healthcare, which is really kind of the same thing. And then we have our Medicare Advantage plan. Stanford Health Care accepts Medicare Advantage plans for all hospital and physician services. Check with your Medicare Advantage plan to understand your out-of-network benefits, out-of-pocket costs, if you have any authorization requirements. And I think that's pretty much all that they state on there. So they accept it. Maybe not network with anybody, but they would accept it. If you had an HMO, that would probably end up being an issue more than likely. And then let's come to where I am locally in UVA for a number of years, from about 2000, 2018 till a couple years ago, UVA and Aetna had a co-branded HMO plan that no longer exists. And I put the UVA was not in the top 10, but they're still a very good teaching hospital and highly regarded. Let's put it that way. So they do accept in-network, and if I can find it on here, let's see, insurance coverage. Here we go. Medicare Advantage. Take a look at this. These are all the networks or all the companies that they accept as for Medicare Advantage. And I can tell you, Aetna is a network, Anthem is a network, Humana is a network, United Healthcare is a network, and Virginia Premier, I presume they are meaning the Centera plan. So this is kind of funny. So this plan is through a hospital group called Centera, based out of Tidewater, Virginia, and UVA actually accepts more or less the competition's insurance. And last but not least, MD Anderson on there. And again, it tells you about what's accepted. They are very limited. They accept Blue Cross Blue Shield of Texas, PPO, and some Kelsey Care Medicare Advantage plans. So if you're going there, you better double check to see if they will accept it or not. So here's the bottom line. Okay, I understand there's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of things out there that people say hospitals aren't accepting Medicare Advantage. Your top tier hospitals are not accepting Medicare Advantage. I hope that I've proven the point that most of them, if not all of them, accept Medicare Advantage, some form of fashion. Many of them accept plans in network, which is the way you would want to go if you have that Medicare Advantage plan. And a few of them actually have their very own or co-branded Medicare Advantage plan. So the notion that top tier hospitals don't accept Medicare Advantage is completely false. Now, do they necessarily like it? Would they rather deal with original Medicare? That could be true. I have dealt with providers at large hospitals that love Medicare Advantage. I've had some very influential doctors that are clients of mine that have or have had Medicare Advantage. So I hope that helps you. I hope you find it interesting. If you need help with your Medicare, whether it's Medicare Advantage, Medicare supplements, drug plan, whatever it is, you're from one of the states I'm licensed in, you need my help, you want a good solution, especially coming up for next year with all the craziness that is going on, then by all means, reach out to me. I'll be glad to help. My name is Chris Prang. I'm the Medicare analyst. Make it a great day.